Hi, I'm Beth Atwell. Welcome back to Medicine in Meadville. We're doing a show today about water safety, and there's a lot of different kinds of water safety. So with me today, I'd like to introduce Terry Crecraft, and you are from the...
I'm from the Fish and Boat Commission. I am the local waterways conservation officer here in Crawford County. My main district would be the eastern part of the county, which is basically from French Creek over to Titusville.
That sounds like a lot of area and a lot of things that you're in charge of.
It's a pretty wide range of area. There's a lot of different things. There's trout stocking, there's boating, there's fishing. There's just a lot of territory. There aren't very many of us around the state.
Yeah, how big your staff was
There's
or whatever.
roughly about 80 full-time officers in districts around the state of Pennsylvania, and then plus we have deputies that work for us.
Oh, good.
So.
Well, as long as you're not out there trying to do everything all by yourself, you probably have some really great workers.
Yes, we do.
Good.
The officers are highly trained, and we do the best we can with the number of people that we have.
Well, and we have so many lakes and so many different water bodies of water around that people vacation here,
right,
and the local people use.
Right.
And one of the biggest things I know most people enjoy is boating, and you're here to tell us a little bit about boating safety. And I noticed you brought some props.
I brought lots of props.
Yes, I'm really excited about these props. So
right.
What can you tell us about them?
Okay, these are obviously life preservers. They're also called life jackets. The technical term is personal flotation devices. And there are 5 different types of personal flotation devices, which I can go through.
Okay.
And I'll go through the regulations. What the regulations are for life jackets or personal flotation devices: everyone on a boat must have a wearable personal flotation device with you on that boat. So, it doesn't matter which type you have, except you have to have a wearable type. And to start off with...
Shouldn't they be wearing it if the boat's moving?
We recommend everybody wear a life jacket.
Okay, good.
The law doesn't require everybody in every instance to wear a life jacket, but we certainly recommend everyone wear a life jacket while they're out in their boat.
Right.
But there's 5 different kinds. The first type, and all life jackets have a label. They have to be U.S. Coast Guard approved, and you can check the label and says this is an adult, and it has some more information that you can read about it. If you look at type 1, you don't normally see too many of these. These are very big and bulky. They have a lot of flotation inside there. You normally see these maybe on the ocean, a ship, or maybe on Lake Erie, somewhere where you'd have really high waves and you really want a lot of flotation. So that's the type 1. This is designed to turn your head out of the water if you're unconscious. So type 1.
I see. Okay, so type 1 we put over here.
Yep. Type 2, this is a very common type of life preserver.
I've seen that kind,
You see a lot of these kind. And something that you may have never seen before, this is what's inside there.
Ew.
It's called K-POC.
I've heard of K-POC.
K-POC, yep. And it's inside this plastic case, and it'd be one here, and then there's a little smaller one up around the neck. And a type 2 is also designed to turn your head out of the water in the event you're conscious.
One?
That would be an adult size also.
So I would use something like this?
Yes.
Are there bigger adult sizes?
There's extra larges, there's child sizes, there's infant size life jackets in the different styles.
Right, and this K-POC stuff, even when it gets wet, it still floats.
Right, as long as you don't get a hole in it. These are prone to getting holes in them when you have the plastic.
They get a lot of wear and tear.
You could get a pinhole in there. A lot of the newer ones have solid pieces of foam in the life jacket. So in the same places that this would be, the solid pieces. That way if you got a pinhole in there, it's not going to deflate. And this life jacket that we use for demonstrations, even though it looks good, it has the straps. If you would squeeze, the way to check when you have K-POC is squeeze and listen for air leaking out.
You can actually
of the
hear
life jacket.
it?
You can actually hear it.
Is there a
You got to squeeze really, really hard.
I can't squeeze that hard, probably.
Okay. This one,
you think it's
I believe it's the top one. You can see how it's just collapsed down. We've already squeezed most of the air that's out of there during demonstrations. So this actually is not a serviceable life jacket. You can't use it.
This is just for demonstrations.
Just for demonstrations.
So you don't want to borrow this one to go out today on a boat. Okay.
But you want to check your life jackets to make sure that all the snaps and all
the belts and everything.
Yep, that everything's in working condition.
Okay.
Type 3. This is not designed to turn your head out of the water, but it's more comfortable. You can wear these. You see a lot of people wearing these that
I've
water
seen those,
ski,
yeah.
that operate personal watercraft, and these are you have more arm motion. So when you're wearing this, you can paddle easier than the bigger, bulkier ones.
So this is a preference for sports people who like who like to really get out there and move around.
Right.
And it still keeps them up. But there's no guarantee if they got in an accident.
If you're unconscious, it's not going to turn your head out of the water.
It's not going to do that.
Right.
So that's the risk you take.
Yep.
Okay.
By going to a type 3.
But I bet these are very popular because
these are very popular.
So many people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do that kind of thing.
So that's type 3.
Okay.
Type 4. This is not a wearable life preserver.
I couldn't wear that. That is so attractive. I would love to wear that.
And it actually tells you, if you take the time to read it, do not wear on your back.
Really? People do it like a backpack?
People would put it on the backpack. Well, what happens if this is floating and you have it on your back and you're in the water,
it tips
your head's
you
actually
under
the water.
Yeah, that only makes sense.
Right. This is designed to be thrown out to somebody that would, say, fall overboard. You could throw this out to them, and then they can
get there.
And they can put their arms in and lay on top of the water.
Okay.
So that will keep them up. But that's a throwable. You count this as one of your devices.
So it doesn't. It's really its own category.
It's its own category, and boats. If your boat is 16 feet and over, you have to carry one of those.
Is that K-Pop too?
No, that's the
other
solid. Yep.
Oh, I put that over here. Okay, so it's filled with this stuff.
That's filled with more of the foam type material.
So you don't really run into a problem with holes if you get.
Well, you can get rips and tears in this, and if you do, then you have to replace it.
And this will get soaked, so you'd have to replace it. Okay.
So that's in type 5. This looks a little bit different. Type 5 is a specialized type of device, and there's different type 5s, but you have to follow what's on the label. This is a work vest, so someone, say, that are working on a bridge or something, they need a really good motion with their body. They can still wear this, it counts, but you have to be following what this is specifically for.
Now wait a minute, you're saying working on a bridge.
They're
in a boat.
They could be on a boat.
Standing up, working.
They could be doing that, or maybe they're working above the water.
I see. Okay.
And they're still maybe their company requires them to have a life jacket on in case they would fall in.
Oh yeah.
So they could wear something like this.
Now, do we require it? Does the law require that those guys, the workers?
Right. No, we would not require unless they're in a boat.
Okay.
Okay. What the regulations are, as I said before, is you have to have a wearable one for everyone on the boat. Now, as far as mandatory wear, kids that are 12 years of age and younger on boats 20 feet and under must wear their life jacket while they're underway.
Okay.
That's what that is. So it's 12 years of age and under on a boat that's 20 feet and under.
Okay.
So you're basically dealing with the smaller boats in general that the kids have to wear it. Now locally, there's regulations on Corps of Engineer lakes. So it'd be Woodcock Lake, Kinzoo Reservoir, Tynester Reservoir, and Shenango Reservoir, where if you're in a canoe, a kayak, or if your boat is under 16 feet, no matter how old you are, you have to wear a life jacket at all times.
I think that's great. I think it's important. Now tell me, what other general safety guidelines do you recommend, or laws should we be following when we're on boats, pleasure boats, having a nice day out?
Well, there's a lot of different rules and regulations to follow.
Say the most important ones.
Most important is to have this life jacket.
We know that,
yeah. You got to have the life jacket.
Yeah.
Different things locally, we'll stick with locally, if you're canoeing, say you're canoeing on French Creek, you generally don't want to go out and boat by yourself. You want other people along with you. That way, if something would happen, you would have other people there to help you. The things you have to watch for, you have to watch your balance on canoes, kayaks. If you have a strong current, you have to watch where that current is going to take you, because it may take you into a situation you don't want to go into. So you want to avoid, you want to be looking ahead to know what's ahead of you so you can avoid the situations. There's a lot of trees, limbs in the water.
Yeah, there would be a lot of debris and stuff.
There's things known as strainers. And what that is, it's something in the water that the water's going to pass through, but your boat and a person could get trapped in. So if you have a bunch of trees and limbs and your current takes you into that, you could easily capsize and get pinned up against those strainers. And you want to,
yeah, that's not good.
It's not a good situation. So those are things to avoid. Know the water that you're going to be boating on.
Know about the area.
Know the area. Know if there's any hazards, if there's any dams on the creek that you're going to be on.
Especially important for our vacationers who just come once a year.
Right.
You know, so, for a week or so. Yeah.
Try to get a map or talk to somebody that has boated in the area that you're going to.
Okay.
So that you are aware of what type of hazards might be in the water.
Okay. What are the rules about partying on the boat on the water?
Okay. Well, it's similar to driving a vehicle. The operator of the boat cannot be under the influence of alcohol. And if you have a blood alcohol content of 0.08 and above, you're under the influence driving a car. It's called a DUI. It's the same thing for a boat. It's called a BUI, for boating under the influence.
Ah, okay.
So it's the same type of thing. Now, something that is a little bit different, you are allowed to have alcohol on a boat. But the operator cannot be under the...
The operator should not be imbibing.
Right. You should have the designated driver if you're going to do that.
Okay.
Now, there are some bodies of water that you're not allowed alcohol. State parks do not allow alcohol on state parks.
Okay.
And some Corps of Engineer properties, you're not allowed alcohol either. So,
and there's usually signs posted, right?
There's signs. You can... there's things dealing with our agency. We have a summary book that is given out to all the people that register their boats, or you can just stop and get it free, or it's online.
Do you have to register your boat, and do you have to have some sort of boating license?
Okay. All boats that are motorized, which include electric motors, must be registered as a motorboat. Okay, so that's a given. So anytime you have a motor, it must be registered. Now, if you launch at a Fish and Boat Commission access area or at a Fish and Boat Commission lake, you either have to be registered. If you can register it this is dealing with non-powered boats. You can register it as a non-powered boat. You can get a use permit through the Fish and Boat Commission, or if you have a state park launch permit, because the state parks to launch off their facility, you either have to have a launch permit or registration or a use permit. It doesn't matter which one.
You can't just one day wake up and say, I'm going to take my canoe down French Creek all by myself, and here it is, and I'm jumping in.
And you're jumping. Well,
there is so much that you need to think about.
There's things you need to think about, and things to consider. And it's really easy. I mean, if you got up one day and said, I want to go canoeing on French Creek, but I know I need something, one of those three. Doesn't matter which one, but you need one of those three. You can go to our website, and you can apply for a use permit and get that. You just print out a temporary while you're waiting for the stickers to come in the mail. So you could do it within 10-15 minutes, have it, and then go canoeing.
You could pick up your friend who's going with you, who's going to keep an eye on.
Right. Grab your life jackets.
That's right. Grab your life jacket and head out.
And head out. And have a sound producing device too.
A sound producing device.
Yes.
Not me just screaming, but...
Not just screaming.
Okay.
You have a sound producing device that you can have, athletic whistle is fine. On this one, this is actually my life jacket.
Okay.
And what we do, we just attach a whistle right to our life jacket, so we have our sound producing device.
Is that just in case you run into trouble?
In case you fall in, get into trouble, need to get someone's attention. There was an instance many years ago, I think some guys were kayaking on French Creek in real high water, and they got stranded on one of the islands. And to get their people's attention, rescue, they were blowing their whistles to get the people's attention.
If these guys are just yelling, we think, oh, hi, how are you? Having fun? Yeah, you just go right by.
So something as simple as this. Yes.
Okay, you could have a bullhorn or some sort of...
Most of the larger boats, they have an electronic horn.
Yeah, they have
the smaller boats, they generally carry the handheld whistle.
Okay.
Or you can have an air horn. Air horn would meet the legal requirement too.
All right. Well, I think we've covered a lot of information, and I know there's a lot more about boating safety and water safety, but let's narrow it down to summarizing what we talked about today. Most important, personal flotation device.
Right.
And you want to make sure that whatever boat you are in is meeting the regulations of whatever kind of registration or licensing that it needs.
And there's other safety equipment also that is required on bigger boats.
And a sound producing device, you want to make sure everybody else has the correct kind of personal flotation device.
Correct.
And the person operating wants to be sober at all times.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we want people to have fun and enjoy themselves, but we don't want any accidents, any danger. And what am I forgetting? Oh, I know.
You've covered a lot.
My sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
Put your sunblock on early, people.
Yes, we do that.
You probably do that every day.
I do it every day that I'm out.
That's good for you.
Yes, I do.
Terry Crecraft from the Pennsylvania
Fish
and Boat
Commission.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank
we
you.
did a lot today, and I really appreciate you bringing all these great
Sure.
props, because I always love props. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Stick around. We'll be right back.